record on this computer. And there we are, we recorded. So there are only the three of us, but I'm sure we can have a very nourishing and fulfilling evening together if we behave ourselves.
Sure we can.
Yeah.
And is everybody okay?
Well,
I mean, I know about everybody, but Hazel?
Hazel's cat's been ill and she sounds a bit stressed with work. That's what I picked up from her text. She was talking about, she was talking about catching up with her work emails. Which is
Oh, poor thing.
Yeah, no, but a cat's not been well. I think they thought they were going to have it down, so that's more worrying. But
yeah.
Okay. So we're sending you all that love, Hazel, and hope everything's okay.
Have you heard from Helen, Alison?
She's away. It was her wedding anniversary on the 3rd, and they around this time they always go away. So
right, but she's
gone
doing
to
right.
Cambridgeshire.
Very nice.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, she seems to be struggling a little bit, doesn't she, with the world of Zoom and stuff. I mean, as regards this, she's I think it's just too much Zoom, isn't it, for her? But I'd really like to keep her in touch. We'd like to keep you in touch, Helen, if you're listening to this. So
hello to everybody that's
listening. Out there in virtual land. I'm planning a retreat day, actually, probably end of January for a group of people. So I thought you might like that. Probably a Saturday on Zoom, but I'd incorporate it with very short guided sessions and things like mindful movement, get people just to walk and stuff like that. So if you're interested in that, I'll send you details.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
It does work quite well, actually. I mean, Ros is on retreat now. She's upstairs.
I know.
The roof of the garage. She's in the house. So, she's on silent retreat at the moment, and I'm her.
Have you made your food drop today?
Pardon?
Have you made your food drop today?
I have, yeah. I did the porridge this morning, and I warmed the soup up and made the sandwiches at lunchtime. But because we're having this, Ros is going to warm up the whatever we're having, samosas and bhajis. I'm having it's a treat for me this evening, so I'm having my dinner warmed up for me. Yeah. What I suggest we do is maybe do a short practice, 10 minutes just to settling. And then have a kind of just go around the three of us, see how we are. Then I want to do something experimental with you, which you'll explain. It's nothing. It's to do with meditation, but it's a different approach, which I'm really curious, and I've not actually tried this with other people other than myself. So that's a little tease, and then get some feedback on that, and then probably do another, more substantial routine meditation, which should keep us occupied, and then just see where we are at the end of the evening. I'll say it now because I know I'll forget. I'm not here in a fortnight because Rosa's brother and sister and nephew are coming over. So I thought we'd just have a 3-week break, if that's okay with both. Is that all right? Yeah. So, okay. So let's just do 10 minutes, just sitting, basically. I think just a gentle guidance. So I'll mute you so you don't have to do that. Okay, and if you can leave your camera on or turn it off, it's entirely up to you. And as I say, I'll just do 10 minutes on this one. And by all means, join in, Hazel and Helen and Ros, when you listen to this. So very simply this evening, just to make ourselves comfortable, posture we normally have, or a posture that suits how you are right now. Remembering to make that connection with the earth beneath us, so we're grounding ourselves in the present moment through the body. And just checking your shoulders, you maybe want to roll them a little bit, just let any tension go there, softening them. And just resting your awareness on the breath. So just stay with the breath, breathing in and breathing out for the next 10 minutes. Not forcing anything, just the resting your awareness like a leaf on the sea with the natural inflow and outflow of the breath. Okay. So maybe just go around, say how you are, what's going on for you. Maybe say anything about the practice if you feel compelled to do so, just to share that. So do you want to start, Sam?
Yeah. All good this end. It was a bit, my mind was a bit busy to start with, but it settled down. It was nice, kind of calm. Just been looking forward to getting back into like the meditation and stuff. It's nice doing the longer meditations at the moment. Now we're sort of like, after having the break, sort of getting back into doing them.
Yeah.
So yeah, all good until they started drilling next door, and that
The
distracted
drilling.
me a little bit.
Oh God. Glad you were muted.
So yeah, sorry if they're about to start.
Don't worry.
Yeah, so Alison.
Oh, I was trying I think I was over trying to keep my brain on the straight and narrow.
Okay.
My brain was bouncing around.
Okay.
And yeah, my shoulder's hurting, and that was distracting. But there have been things going on. A neighbour killed another neighbour, and it's just been horrid. So.
Oh, Alison, that's a
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so
yeah.
the police have gone now. The
Yeah.
police have
Are
gone
they?
now. Hmm?
Good. Glad
Yeah.
you got the police
Yeah.
have got. At least that's
Yeah.
one thing. But did you know both of them?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Hmm.
Oh, blimey.
Not very well, but
No.
you know, not close friends, but
No.
very near neighbours.
When was that?
Well,
Yeah.
That was Thursday.
I think it was on the news, wasn't it? It would have been
Yeah.
Shed Mallet though, but not all. But my goodness, that's just.
So I couldn't help stop thinking. I couldn't stop thinking about who's going to empty his bin, and then I thought, well, the police have probably ransacked it anyway. So yeah, sorry. Anyway,
Was it a domestic thing then?
Hey,
Was it a domestic thing?
I don't really know the details. No.
Oh dear, I really feel for you. That's very, very challenging.
Must be really unsettling though to have that
It was really
just up the road, and to have kind of like all the police and stuff that you've had there.
Really unsettled me. Anyway, it's over now. So
Okay.
yeah, so I'm really glad to be doing this tonight. So thank you.
Well, I'm glad you're here. Yeah, very good. Yeah, I'm all right.
Your turn, Paul. Oh, good.
You'll be passing over to me.
I was going to say it's your turn.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. I'll go then. Yeah, it's really interesting, Ros being on silent retreat, because it's really good for me. So, you know, we sometimes have the TV on in the morning. It's just brilliant not watching the news, and it feels like I'm on a semi-retreat. So I come in here to when I'm talking to people, but hey, I am making loads of calls. So I've had a lot of quiet, and my practice has been good during at the beginning of the day, and I've got really focused on the work I'm doing, and even did a bit of tidying up. Although if you could see the office, you wouldn't believe me. But some progress there. So yeah, it's good. And Ros's goes right through to Saturday morning, and then I start a retreat on Wednesday night. So I'm doing 4 days online around the Brahma Viharas. The kindness, compassion, joy.
Oh yeah.
So embodied Brahma Viharas. So I don't know how that's going to work out, but we've been on retreat with this chap before, Jack Dartington, and we really like him. So I'm looking forward to that.
Cool.
And I actually overlap. So Ros comes out Saturday. I don't come out till Sunday. So that'll be quite interesting. She'll be bouncing around wanting to,
yeah, been on silent retreat. By the time it comes to next Monday, you both be like,
well, yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah, so obviously when I'm not silent like now, I'm just going to keep rambling on if I don't kind of control myself. So but it's really nice. It's nice. Got out on my bike yesterday, which was great because the weather was so nice yesterday. The one thing I just shared this, I was sharing with Sam. I had a bit of a brainstorm this afternoon, and I don't know if you know, I'm getting very involved with the HS2 rebellion, the high-speed train stuff, and the devastation that's going on. And one particular wood, the Jones Hill wood, which is where Roald Dahl wrote The Fantastic Mr. Fox, and it's a lot of people love it, and it's being flattened. So I spent a weekend down there, just went on spec, and it was very difficult. And one thing I couldn't understand is there are a lot of people there. You know, they've got beautiful houses. Some are having them compulsory purchased. They're having their environment just ripped up for the biggest pavement in the country, and having their beautiful forests destroyed. And they just don't turn out to protest. You know, you get half a dozen people from the village, and it really puzzles people. You know, the ones that are putting their lives on the line, and and then you read in Germany that somebody wants to put a railway through a woodland, and 2,000 people turn out and stop it. And you can do, and it's really ridiculous. Yeah. It could be. I'd do the same here. I could tell you, but I suppose that's my inclination. But then I had this brainwave, and it was the Women's Institute, and so I've got in touch with the local Strawberry Line lady, Kobe, and said, you know, I know they're kind of ecologically minded, but I think if you harness the power of the Women's Institute and something as romantic as the Jones Hill Woods, that I bet, you know, like they did with Tony Blair in the Iraq War, and just, you know, take on the. Anyway, I kind of, just before we came online tonight, I pinged off a messenger to Kobe, who runs the Women's Institute. So I'm quite excited about that. Ros will be bold, I think, that I've done that, because no, I'm only joking, sweetheart, if you ever do watch this, which I guess you won't. Yeah, so that's where I am. What I'd like to do, it's an experiment. So it's I'll tell you what I'm trying to do is, with one of my other groups, I'm moving to Vedanas, you know, the pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral feelings that we have, these feeling tones that we particularly notice in our bodies, you know. So one way of doing that, and this is a legit practice, that Joseph Goldstein does it, and is it rather than meditate, and I'm going to do this for 10 minutes, I think. Rather than meditate, the only instruction is to stay. It'll be quite challenging for you, Alison, this, I guess, you know, especially with the shoulder, but stay absolutely still for 10 minutes. Okay, so you can meditate if you wish, obviously sit comfortably, but the instruction is do not move. And then what I invite you to do is, during that 10 minutes, just notice what's going on for you. So things you will notice are obviously things we've done through meditation before, the arising, abiding, and passing of sensations, you know. So there will be itches and scratches, and you'll be wanting to move your bodies to get comfortable. Yeah, and really observe that. You know, just watching. They call it a push. Yeah, a push to do something. You know, that you kind of automatically will find you've got lots of automatic adjustments that you make. They might be very small. And then, you know, thoughts will come up and feelings, and again, not just observing those as you're keeping still. You know, thoughts like, what on earth am I doing this for? And, you know, all the things that are probably going on when we're allowing ourselves. You know, I used to rock a lot in meditation. That's one thing I kind of developed a real habit for, because the Tibetans do it. But actually, it's not helpful. It's helpful when you get back to normal meditation to occasionally make adjustments. So I'm not saying this should be forever, but it's being mindful when we do make adjustments, when we make that choice. And this is really taking the extreme circumstance, whereas we don't make the adjustment that we're being compelled to make, or we don't scratch that itch, or, you know, we don't reposition. So do you understand what I'm saying? And it's really just an experiment. 10 minutes on the bell, not moving, and then we'll just feedback and see what that was like for us afterwards. All right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Same thing. If you can, I'll mute you, or if you can mute yourselves, actually, it's probably better. So I can't get you back when you do that. And take your camera off if you wish. And I'll just look at the clock. We'll see how we go. So how was that, Alison?
Difficult because of wanting to move my shoulder, and I don't touch my face very much anyway, but I did have an itch on my nose, so normally I might have just wiggled my nose. I think I took it to a bit extreme. I was trying not to swallow.
Oh yeah, that's a difficult one, isn't it?
Yeah, and I found my breathing was a bit upset by holding my breath a bit. Though I tried to think about the breath, but so yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Anything else about the passing of time and what you were noticing as different things? Did things changing, for example?
What do you mean, things changing?
Yeah, so were you noticing that there was a phenomena that you noticed, and did it stay the same throughout? So was your arm the same throughout, for example, or the itching on your face the same, or did it come and go? Did it change?
The shoulder was there the whole time.
Right.
Yeah. I tried to they were just passing otherwise, just tiny little things, so not a big deal, but it was just I regarded it as a challenge.
Okay.
And I like to rise to a challenge. So I kept deadly still.
Yeah. How did it compare with when you meditate? Were there any particular differences that you noticed, either positive or not positive?
I think it distracted from the meditation in a way. Okay. Because it became an end in itself to not move.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I sort of, I was really making myself not move.
Was there anything pleasant about it?
It's always nice to feel a constraint, because it's easier to feel cozy in a constraint, isn't it? It sort of keeps you confined.
Yeah.
So there was that. It was sort of, it was a focus.
Yeah. Okay, cool. What about you, Sam?
Yeah, I don't think I took it to the extreme that Alison did, because I was still breathing.
Good.
Yeah, no, I think it was different to meditation, because I was kind of focusing more on like the whole body and stuff, rather than like usually on the meditation I kind of focus on the breath kind of going in and out, or like around the nose kind of thing. So I was kind of focusing on everything. And I kind of noticed that the longer it went on, the more it was kind of like, I guess I was kind of moving, but it wasn't a voluntary movement. It was like the muscles were getting so relaxed. I kind of felt like my shoulders were kind of just slowly moving back, and it kind of felt like my chest was opening out. And it just sort of like more of an expansion happening, and I could feel all like the tingling, like the energy getting more grounded and stuff like that. So yeah,
pleasant or unpleasant or neutral?
I think it's pleasant. I like it when you can feel like, because I do when you do the qigong, I get all like the tingling and stuff. So it kind of like So I like it when you do that, because it feels like I've got a connection into my body. Then it feels like there, and I feel quite grounded and stuff like that. So I found it's quite pleasant, but then I wasn't constricting myself on the breathing. I wasn't focusing on the breathing, but I know my chest was moving and my tummy was moving in and out with the breathing. So I don't know, were we supposed to have been
just what your experience is? I'm really interested in what you're both saying. I don't think there's a right or wrong about this. It's it's like notice. I think both the feedback's really good. I come back to something you said about the breath and where you focus. So for me, I noticed immediately I hadn't got my hands in the right place. So I don't know. So I had this tension, holding this tension right around here, which was quite vivid. And normally I would have put my hands in my lap and adjusted, but because I was abiding by the rules, but I found it really fascinating, and eventually I got used to that. but it took me about 3 minutes, I think. And I didn't look at the clock till 5 minutes in, because obviously I've got a time keep as well. The other thing I noticed, an intense itch. I always get that when I do this. It's just because, I can't focus on the breath when there isn't it. You're really intense and really want to scratch it, and like almost painfully. The guy, Larry Rosenberg, who talks about this, my absolute best meditation book ever. It's the best. It's exquisite, and
Oh, I've never seen that one.
I'm teaching it on the Monday morning things that I do, and it's like it's almost completely highlighted now. It's really fabulous. And he talks about doing this. The first time he did this, he got bitten by a mosquito. And he describes, like he wants to give up his Buddhism and his Dharma and everything. I said, what stupid thing, it's just the mindset that was going, and the intensity of a tiny mosquito. I think it's great. I really like it. I've done it a few times now, and I choose to do it sometimes during the day. So, if I just, well, it's ironic, but if I want to relax, sometimes I just put everything down and just, just do this on, just laying on the settee, for example. And what it really does for me is it gives me a better open awareness experience, a bit like yours. I start to notice a lot more, because I'm very focused naturally when I'm meditating, because I've needed to do. It helps me with my open awareness, because I just let it be what it is, and so I find it really, really helpful. And what I was thinking about what you said, Sam, is there's a thing in Buddhism, any object will do. It's kind of naturally leading me to the practice I want to do as the final practice. But if you're not focusing on your breath and you're focusing on these sensations, it's a legitimate meditation object. It's just different. So, but sometimes I think we feel it's only the breath because we usually do the breath. So that to me is a really interesting area of experimentation. So, So if people at home watching this might like to try this in the comfort of their own, yes, in fact.
They could feedback on email.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I'll be looking forward to hearing from you. Yes. If you could do it by Friday, that'd be helpful. Okay, that's good. So look, we've got I can never see my clock on here. We have got we've got over half an hour to go, so that's perfect. So I thought we'd do a 20-minute practice, and I'm going to do the Satipatthana and the first 4 contemplations of the mindfulness of body. And so what we start with is just resting our awareness on the breath, a bit like that we did at the beginning. And then the second stage, and I'll guide, the guidance I'll do is just introduce each stage, is we'll intensify our focus by checking if the breath is long or short. We'll check if it's rough or smooth. If it's deep or shallow, we'll drop into the gap before the in-breath. So we those 2 contemplations are actually focused attention. Okay, and we've done lots of that in the past. Then the third part is actually we do what we've just done now, other than not as a stillness. We drop the breath into the background, and we just are with the body. So all these energetic flows and everything, what we've been describing, that's our object. So we kind of focus, we open our awareness to that, because this is an awareness practice. And dealing with distractions in the same way. If we drift off, we make sure we're grounded again, or we're noticing we're distracted and we bring it back to the object. And then the 4th bit is we integrate breath, body, and mind. And we do that calming, because that's actually the objective of this first 4 contemplations, is to really calm ourselves down. So we could check in how that's worked for us as the final check-in. Does that sound okay? Yep. So you'd like to join us at home? We're going to do a 20-minute meditation on the mindfulness of the body. Okay. So same format, audio off, camera if you wish or not. So let's just allow ourselves to drop our awareness into the body, right down to our feet, and making sure we've got this solid, grounded connection with the earth. And that we're just lengthening our spine, allowing our shoulders to soften and fall back, and opening our chest. And then just allowing our attention to go to the natural in and out breath. So breathing in, naturally breathing out. And just locate where the breath is most prominent in your body. Maybe the nostrils, maybe the chest, might be the abdomen or somewhere else, but that area where the sensation of breath is most prominent becomes your focal point to place your attention. So we're focusing on the breath in the body at the place that we choose. And breathing in, breathing out, letting the breath do the work. We're just observing it. So we're dealing with distractions as we always do, noticing when the mind has wandered, relaxing, releasing the distraction, and returning to the sensation of the breath in the body. Breathing in, breathing out. So now we can fine-tune the focus of our attention by observing more closely, first of all, the length of each breath as we breathe in and breathe out. So to help us with this, just take a long breath and follow the breath right from the beginning to the end. And then just breathing naturally again, noticing the length of each breath. Some may be longer, some may be shorter. Also noticing the gap before each in-breath naturally comes along. If we wish, resting in that gap until the breath does come along. And also pay attention to the quality of the breath, whether each breath might be rough or smooth, shallow or deep, short or long. So as our meditation unfolds, we may notice that the breath maybe becomes more subtle. Maybe we spend a little bit more time in the gap before the next in-breath comes along. So the breaths are actually shortening. We might notice a further relaxation of the body. If none of this is happening, don't worry, just happily continue to practice. So now we can make a change. We can let the breath go right into the background, almost indiscernible, and bring our awareness to the body itself. So expanding our awareness to take in our experience of the body. So it's rising and falling. Sensations that we may notice. The subtle energy of the body. Resting our awareness. Opening our awareness. Being present to the body. The breath is breathing in the background. if we become too distracted, always bring ourselves back to anchor our breath in the body, grounded with the earth through the soles of our feet. And then resume resting our awareness on the body, the whole body. So the breath calms the body, tranquilizes the body, and the mind becoming calmer and calmer. So we naturally can move into the fourth stage, calming the body. If we wish, we can silently whisper calming as we breathe in and calm as we naturally breathe out. As we proceed, it can become like there is no one meditating. There's just meditation happening naturally. Breath, body, and mind completely in harmony.
Mhm. When did he arrive?
5 minutes ago. It's all right. It's very peaceful, actually. He seems all right.
Yeah.
He likes meditation.
Oh.
Hello. 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 So you've done your job now, then. You've disturbed everybody. Good. Yeah. So how was the practice then? How did that go for you?
Yeah, it was all right actually. It
Hmm.
was I've forgotten a bit the beginning bit. Now I've got to the end bit. I got quite chilled out. I've forgotten where I was at the start.
That's all right. That's
Actually,
enough to me.
I noticed that when I was doing the more open awareness 2 bits, the drilling next door bothered me less than when I was doing like the
Okay.
focusing on my breathing. It was kind of like I kind of switched off to it a bit, and then it suddenly came back into my conscious, and I was like, oh, that hasn't like
Yeah.
annoyed me. Whereas when I was trying to do the breathing, I was kind of like focused on the breathing. Every time I kept drilling, I was thinking, oh, seriously, like still drilling.
Mm.
That's really interesting because that's kind of an acceptance thing, that sometimes if we accept stuff, it's much easier than to try and push it away. So it'd be, your mind's contracting, and you've got an aversion there, haven't you? The drill, because I'm trying to focus.
Yeah.
It's really interesting feedback that, because then you're saying, but when I'm open, it's just there. So it's I think it's quite really interesting to notice that, actually, that that you could bring into other things as well, that you're trying, instead of trying to push it away because you're trying to focus, just being with, because you're open is
I actually, so when I did the second 2 parts, I actually felt a lot more relaxed than the first 2 parts. And then I think because when we were doing the second part of focusing on the breathing, but we was like making the breath kind of like longer and deeper, I kept having a little bit where where like you go to take a deep breath, and then it was like I couldn't take a deep enough breath to what you want, when you go to do that sometimes. And it was just like, and so then when it was much easier when we went to the open awareness actually tonight, which normally I find that harder than the focus stuff.
The one bit I'm that doing the long breath to notice what a long, I've checked with Alison about this, is a bit, even in the book, he's saying he's not sure about that because it's meant to just be natural. In the first 2, you are not doing anything, you're just being with it. There's no intention there. By deciding to do a long breath, you're changing it's like pranayama, you're deciding to do something different. So
I think that was it, because he was trying to make, because usually I do fairly long breath anyway when you just focus on breath going in, but I think because I was really focusing on it, and it was like make sure it's a deep breath, and then it was just kind of like when you try to take a deep breath in and you feel like your lungs kind of won't open up enough, and then you kind of like skip a breath almost kind of thing. But then when we were getting into the second bit and just focusing more on the space between the breath, it felt a lot more natural and a lot more relaxed.
You've helped me there, actually, because I think I'll drop that out of the instructions and just be with it long or short. Because the thing about this practice is, I'll just come back to what I was going to say, because I'd like to hear how you got on, Alison. How was it for you?
My shoulder did impinge a lot, and I did take some painkillers, so I'm sorry. I think I've got to do something about my posture. I think it's posture driven. I don't get very comfortable. I think I'll have to change my chair.
Do you ever practice lying down?
No, I wouldn't find that very easy.
Oh, really? Okay. Because that
I know Hazel rates it.
It'd be super comfortable, that. Or kneeling down's another one, just with like on a cushion. So it sometimes gives you more support for your back than sitting up. With a pile of cushions, between your legs, and then just kneeling upwards like that. Some people, you might just try, or have a back. Have you got a back on your chair?
Yeah.
Yes, you've got a cushion behind you.
No, I'll try that next time.
Just get a bit more support for your back, I think. Because if you are, especially if you've got a shoulder, it's not surprising if you're trying to lift your upper body, you're going to put pressure on that. So I think
Mm.
be, that kinder to yourself maybe, and give yourself a bit more support.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. Because there's no hard and fast rules. I think it's important we find our own. It's so important to have the body ready and as comfortable as possible without it being sloppy, but just where you need it. So I think it should be an idea. But other than that, what else did you find? What else did you experience?
I quite like doing the long breath.
Okay.
Because it made me realise how shallow my normal, relatively shallow it is. So, I found that quite grounding in a way, just to be in long breath mode.
I mean, one thing I didn't do today, I normally do, is to take the 3 deep breaths in your abdomen at the beginning and then exhaling to get that grounded. So that might be something when you're practicing on your own. Make sure you're doing that. Yeah. Anything else?
It did feel cold, but then I felt some warmth as well from my hands. But I've got the central heating on, so I don't know why I'm feeling cold. I suppose it's sitting perfectly still.
Yeah.
Well, relatively still.
And be more aware of the conditions as well through being mindful. So you're going to notice things. I get on with upper arms sometimes. I really, didn't expect it with heating on. Sometimes just do cold there when I'm meditating. It's blanket time then.
Fall asleep.
Yeah, well, that's always a challenge. Yeah. Anything else, Alison?
No, I don't think so.
What I was going to say, because this first Satipatthana, it's a natural process that we're actually engineering at being, going through this focus, fine focus, the opening up, and the body and the mind and the breath starting to integrate, and they get this calm at the end. And the mind really would go there if we didn't interfere it with all our distractions and things like that. And one thing I've discovered is sitting still, that happens to me. So when I'm actually not doing the work does it. So it's one of the reasons why the sitting still I find very, without meditating, that my mind starts to really settle naturally to that integrated state at the end. I don't know if you got to that place, but or if you've experienced it, where you stop being the meditator, you kind of lose yourself, and it's like your breath is breathing itself, and the body is being calmed by the breath, and you get this really beautiful stillness and calmness. I had a friend, he's an old school friend, and he came on. I did this meditation longer version this morning, and he came on the call this morning. And then he said, "I've got to speak to you." He says, "I stopped breathing." And he's kind of a bit, he says it was amazing, but I was a bit concerned. I says, you got to a very advanced stage of meditative stillness, because that's the breath will slow down as we're kind of relaxing more into the meditation. And a lot of these yogis, they sit for inconceivable amounts of time not breathing. And that, so I think that's something to be aware of. It, if we kind of think we're not breathing, if we're comfortable, just be there, because I think that's more of a natural state. It's where all your mind and your body and your breath come into a kind of equipoise, and there's just that beautiful state. You're actually then resting in your natural state of mind, that this calm, still, clear pool where there's no disturbance. So
for a few minutes, like when you've been doing the mantra chanting, so the first kind of couple of minutes after you stop doing the mantra, when you can just kind of feel the effects of it going around the body, and you just get that kind of 2 or 3 minutes where it's absolutely blissful, kind of just nothing happening until then your mind kind of starts to sort of, conscious mind comes back in. But you do have a few minutes of it. And I have had it with doing the pranayama stuff and that as well, and some of them, when you get so deep into the breathing, you do kind of you sort of,
and that's it, that's what we're seeking, really, without seeking it, because if we start looking for it, it's very difficult, because the mind's going, where is it, but if we naturally, that's the state really, is, you know, we're dropping into the natural nature of mind. Actually, that's what's underneath all this turmoil that we've got. So it's and the mantra, Rob Priest is very keen on that with mantra counting. He says, you know, all these Buddhists do these mantras and then rush off to recite prayers and ring bells and things. He says that's such a special thing to do when you've been chanting a mantra. And do exactly, I think we might do that. Actually, one session is do a bit of mantra chanting, because it is really beautiful, as you know, because you obviously do it a lot. And that space afterwards is you know, it's a good reminder for me to remember how powerful that is. So I might bring one along in the future, and you know, we can practice together and see how it works for us. So, any questions before we go?
So it's 3 weeks. 3 weeks before the next one.
3 weeks to the next one, which will be, I think
Near the end of the month, will it then?
yeah, it's the 30th. No, sorry, we're in October, 2nd of November.
Really? Gosh.
Yeah, before the election, folks.
What election?
The American election.
What election?
Oh, right.
Good for you, Sam. I'm with you. Yeah. Oh,
Sorry.
it's all right. It's all right. Last, yeah, 4 years ago. Is it 4 years or 5 years, the American one?
4, isn't it?
4 years, isn't it?
Roz and I were in New York on a retreat with Matthew Ricard.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
And we were silent, but we weren't the day everybody got up and heard that news. It was,
Yeah.
and he was wonderful, actually. He gave a lovely teaching about it. I ought to dig it out just to remind us what he said. You know, it was.
But you might need it again for the 3rd of November then.
I don't think so. No.
Well, it's not really. I think it's how he loses, not that he will lose. But that's.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not going there. I'm not. That's such a lovely time. But I'm going to stay in this blissful kind of no breathing state and go and get supper and let Ollie out. Otherwise, he's going to tear my leg off.
Okay, well, see everybody.
Yeah.
See you in 3 weeks, or keep in touch if you want in between. We're around, so it'd be nice. Yeah, talk. And
Okay. Well, if you're still on, oh no, you're doing your own meditation. Your own retreat, aren't you? I was going to say, if you're cycling past while you're.
I'll wait till the weather clears. So it's only 4 days, so maybe sometime next week would be very nice just to pop in and see you. If we're not in the tier 1 lockdown.
Yeah, no, we'll be fine.
You're all right with lockdown, Sam. You have a wonderful time as long as it's
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be any different at the moment, really, does it? It's just, but yeah, no, Gary's mum's about to. They're going into that tier 3, aren't they? So yeah. So so I have been looking at the news to see how it's going to affect her.
Don't do it often. It doesn't do you any good at all.
It doesn't do you any good at all.
No. Okay, then take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Alison.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.